Tune in for Patrick Ching's Painting in Paradise.
Aloha, I'm Patrick Ching, and thank you for joining me on Painting in Paradise. In this episode, we learn about the Manu-o-Kū, a seabird that's a welcome sight to ocean voyagers because the sight of them is a good indication that land is near. We'll hear from Rich Downs of Hui-o Manu-o-Kū, a group of conservationists dedicated to the education and protection of the Manu-o-Kū, which is now the official bird of Honolulu. I'll show you how to draw the Manu-o-Kū, and then we'll have a Manu-o-Kū painting party in Waimānalo. Enjoy all this and more on a fine feathered episode of Painting in Paradise! When we return, we'll learn more about this white tern known as Manu-o-Kū.
Well, every year up here, it's the Maui Open Studio with all the people who push paint, artists, in various communities around Maui. We open up our doors, they walk through the studio and the grounds and so forth, they check everything out. It's February 17th and 18th, 2023. Just come up, hang out, talk story, look at art.
Ancient ocean voyagers had no modern instruments to help them navigate the vast oceans. They relied on the stars, wind, ocean currents, as well as their own experience and intuition. They also paid close attention to the animals they encountered. Fish, marine mammals, sea turtles, and other forms of wildlife gave them insights as to their direction. Birds are some of the most important creatures to observe. The knowing of the feeding, nesting, and migration habits of various birds offered lots of important information to the navigators. The navigator knew the feeding ranges of the seabirds and how far away from land each species would venture. While some seabirds remained at sea for years, others were known to return to land daily during their nesting seasons. Birds like the Manu-o-Kū would stay relatively close to the islands in order to return to their chicks with food on a daily basis. So, to an ocean navigator looking for land, the sight of this bird was an exciting sign that land was near. The English name of the Manu-o-Kū is white tern. They are also sometimes called fairy terns, although true fairy terns are actually another species found in New Zealand and the Southwest Pacific. There are several other species of terns in the Hawaiian Islands, including sooty terns that may nest by the thousands on offshore islands like Manana, also known as Rabbit Island. There are also blue-gray terns, which are much less common, grayback terns, and knotty terns, known as black knotties and the larger brown knotties. The Manu-o-Kū is bright white, except for its dark eyes, beak, and bluish feet. They are quite noticeable as they contrast starkly with their surroundings. In flight, they are nimble and swift, darting about in pairs or small groups in amazing displays of synchronized aerobatics. A beautiful sight is that of a parent returning with a mouthful of little fish to feed their chick. I asked marine biologist Keoki Stender what kinds of fish the Manu-o-Kū like to feed their young.
So Manu-o-Kū like to eat small silvery fishes like nehu, iao, piha, pelagic open ocean, further from shore. So usually the surface dwelling fishes, small plankton feeders. So this fish here, it's probably a piha. It's also known as a sprat. It's like a sardine-like little fish, about 3 inches long, and there's only one species of those in Hawaii.
Now we'll hear from Rich Downs of the Hui-o Manu-o-Kū, a group of conservationists dedicated to the education and protection of the Manu-o-Kū.
This particular population here that we see living amongst us, breeding in the greater Honolulu area, this is the only population of white terns in the entire Pacific region that comes ashore to breed in an urban environment. Typically they breed in remote locations like Midway or Tern Island, where you have to, it's a long ways away from here, difficult to get to, difficult to spend any amount of time there. Here we're lucky to have a populations breeding right here amongst us in the trees that we all walk by on a daily basis, so we can study them long term, which is what we've been doing since 2016. One of the first things we point out about the white tern, it's the only seabird that lays its eggs in trees without bothering to build a nest. What they do is they find a structure, something in the tree that will help them to hold the egg in place, lay the egg in that spot, and then successfully incubate the egg and fetch chicks from it. Now we have discovered that the species of trees that they tend to prefer are ones that when they are trimmed, scar tissue forms around the cup, makes a nice little cup, they lay the egg in the cup and then just sit on that cup. I can't tell the story about the white terns without also talking about the trees that they breed in. Because here on Oahu, like 99.9% of the time, see them breeding in trees. Elsewhere we know they are very opportunistic and they'll breed on like air conditioning covers, benches, shoes left out on the deck. But here we see them typically only breeding in trees. Given a choice between a trimmed tree, a well-maintained one, and one that's not trimmed or maintained, they use the trimmed tree. So we'd like to give a shout out to the tree trimming community for the work that they're doing to actually improve the breeding habitat for them. And we thank them for the work that they do, and thank them for being careful when trimming trees to watch out for the white terns so they don't disturb them. This current population, which is 2,300 plus, when we last counted them back in 2016, and we date from 1961, when the first pair of breeding terns was seen over near Cocoa Head. There have been a couple of surveys over the years since 1961, and the numbers have increased. They seem to be doing well, thriving actually here on Oahu. We're happy that they've come back, and we're hoping that they choose to stay here. Because of all these different unique things that I've pointed out about the terns and their deep historical and cultural significance, back in 2007 they were designated the official bird of the city and county of Honolulu. So we're happy to have that bird living here amongst us.
Correct to call them fairy terns?
Good question. So if you look in a bird book, you'll find that actually is a different species of tern, which is native to New Zealand, Australia. A little bit smaller than our white tern. So the official ornithological name for our tern is the white tern. However, I think out of realization that a lot of people have known this bird as the fairy tern for quite some time, there's a movement afoot to rename it as the common fairy tern. So who knows, it may be renamed to be the common fairy tern. Thank you. All right.
Now get your paper, pencils, or whatever you want to draw with ready, because when we return, I'll show you how to draw the Manu-o-Kū. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how I go about drawing the Manu-o-Kū. And I tell you what, I'll put an adult right there, it's beautiful and white. And I'm going to put one of those fluffy little chicks in there too, okay? Alright. So the first thing I'm going to do for the adult's head is put a little circle right around there. And for the body, I'm going to have an egg shape, or maybe even more of a teardrop shape like this, okay? So it's kind of an egg shape with a long point. That's going to end up being the Manu-o-Kū's tail right there. Now for the wing, I'm going to put another egg shape right around here. Okay? And on that egg, I'm going to put a long point also, and that's going to be the wing that's closest to you. Okay, watch. Okay, now I tell you what, the wing is a little bit longer than the tail, so I'm going to extend that wing a bit like this. Nice and long. If you notice them in real life, or if you see them flying, you're going to see those beautiful sharp wings and tail. With this, I'm going to put the Manu-o-Kū on top of a branch, and I'll show her feet kind of sticking out right there too, okay? Kind of like 3 points right there. Now what is this bird missing? Well, for one, it's missing its mank beak. And so we'll get the beak going right around here. They got kind of a long, skinny beak, and it's quite dark too, okay? Okay, now I got the adult shaped in. I'm gonna put one more thing, the maka, the eye. It's a nice big black eye, and it goes right around there. Okay, I'll tell you what. I think I'm gonna put a fish or two in that parent's mouth, and I'll have the chick kind of begging right here. I'll put a little circle for the head, and a little circle for the body, little circle for the booty. So now I'll put the little beak over there, and the mouth wide open, and the little chick's maka too. I'll put some couple of fish in there, and their tails hanging out on that side. Okay. But wait, you say babies are nice and fuzzy, yeah? And I tell you what, yes, we are going to make the baby fuzzy, but a lot of that fuzz is going to show up when I shade the background. In fact, a lot of times white birds, you're going to spend more time drawing or painting the background than the actual birds themselves. And that's going to be true in this case. I'm just going to take a pen and start shading, and you can watch and have a good time. Okay, now for the maka, I'm going to try and leave a little white dot in there. Even though the whole thing's going to be like black, I'm going to leave a little white dot in there, okay? I'm going to give the outline of the adult bird a little more definition. Connect that top to the top of the body. Okay, down here. Okay, and then defining the wings a little more. So now I got the parent Manu-o-Kū feeding its chick. I got a little space over here, and I think that's a good place for a Manu-o-Kū that's flying, okay? So I tell you what, I'm just going to put a little shape over there, like an egg shape for the body, and a little circle for the head, and now I'm just going to make the wings with a couple of ovals, yeah? I'll get one here, and I'll get one there, another one here, and another one there. For the tail, I'm just going to make that little triangle shaped tail, just like that. For the maka and the mouth, I'll put the eyes in right around there, nice and dark, and another eye on that side, and the beak facing right at you. It's kind of shaped like a little house, you know. So now that I got that Manu-o-Kū flying formed up, I'm just going to give it some outlining action here. Top of the head to the body. Nice long pointed wing tips. Yeah? Around the head to the wing. And then the tail feathers. Maybe the feet can be right around here. Now you can go ahead and shade your Manu-o-Kū. Its wings are going to be a little darker right on the kind of the muscular part over there. Some lines in the direction that the Wing feathers are going, and then just go and shade them to taste. And lastly, just give the feet a little bit more dark ink. And there you have a Manu-o-Kū feeding its chick with the partner flying in. Don't forget your signature. When we return, we'll have a Manu-o-Kū painting party in Waimānalo. For art, gifts, and lessons, visit patrickching.com. And now join a group of bird lovers and myself for a Manu-o-Kū painting party in Waimānalo. The participants painted from photos by Hab Osterlund, Marilyn Potter, Rich Downs, myself, and Melody Betts. We started out the way I like to, by painting the backgrounds first.
Sometimes at the evening tide, I miss your smile. And I wonder what it would have been like if you came and stayed a while. Laughing in the waters of a clear mountain stream. Looking into your eyes, I thought I saw my dream. But honey, until you blow my love to my side, I'll be riding like a seabird on the tide. Travel far and wide, my friend, I know it won't be long till you find the words to write your own sweet song. Or look into the eyes of those you want to see, and reach out for every hand that calls you to be free.
When the backgrounds were done, we started painting the birds.
Answers, I will wait for you, my friend. Gliding like a seabird in the wind.
I'm Celeste. I came from Hawaii. We painted the white terns today, and I love to paint with Patrick because I learned so many new techniques.
Hi, my name is Crystal and I attended today's class with my mom, and today we painted a white tern on a spigot. It was a lot easier than I thought. Patrick was a really great communicator.
Great time painting this white tern, and I'll remember this day for a long time.
I painted the Manu-o-Kū with Patrick Ching.
Yeah, I felt a little nervous. For sure, beginner. It's been a while, probably since high school. Last time I painted anything. I had a blast and really happy with the results. I hope to do another one soon.
Thank you for joining me on Painting in Paradise. I hope you enjoyed learning about Hawaii's white tern called the Manu-o-Kū, which is the official bird of the city of Honolulu. I'd love to see your art, so why don't you send it to my website at patrickching.com. Aloha. You can see past episodes of Painting in Paradise, as well as more art tips on Patrick Ching YouTube. Please enjoy and subscribe. Learn more about the Manu-o-Kū. Read Hawaii's White Tern, Manu-o-Kū, Urban Seabird by Susan Scott. Joining me on Painting in Paradise. I hope you liked your show today.